Quit eating that water. I need a little cup.
A what?
A cup.
Like a cup of water.
Just a cup to rinse her off. Ooh, look at you getting a bath. What's wrong with it now?
That one won't work. It's too small.
Okay, then go look. You better find it. Leland, will you look in the garage for
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Just looking at her.
When you look at her face sometimes, it looks like her. You can see it right.
No, we don't want to see that. I don't. No.
Oh my, you keep moving her.
My stand was kind of like a good rat.
I feel like there's anything such
There ain't
thing
no
as a
such
good
thing.
rat.
There ain't no such thing. Except, what was his name in Charlottesville? Percival. What was his name?
I don't remember no rat.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was the one. He kept eating all the scraps and got so fat on the scraps. He was like
Well,
sick.
I don't
He was
remember
so
any
fat.
of those things.
I think it's
no.
Percival the rat.
I thought we were talking about Ratatouille.
Charlottesville.
Don't you feel lovely? You feel lovely?
So if she sticks her head out.
Let's get a close up. Ooh. Oh my. I'm really exposed to this.
Did it break again?
What is it now? Why can we go inside now?
We gotta get rid of this water. We gotta get the basket in. Hey y'all, welcome back. So we're going out back into the garden. I am very, 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 what do I want to say? How do I want to say this? Very serious, that's a very good way, about making sure that my garden looks good as I'm readying for fall planting. So I'm still dealing with weeds, getting my areas cleaned down, and actually Jackson got the weed eater fixed for me so that I'm able to use it properly. And then I actually want to go in and clean out the greenhouse. I know several people had issues with me leaving my tools outside, just in the garden itself, but the greenhouse is actually very sturdy, and the covering over it is nice, good, durable plastic. And so I'm actually going to take the tools into the greenhouse to be able to keep them from getting, you know, rusted and all that kind of thing. Perhaps I gain a few points from the people. And I'm also going to fertilize my beans. I'm only going to be out here for a little while because it is hot, but I want to try to get a few things done. It is later in the day than I would prefer, but this is the time that I have to do it. I am hoping that Mr. Jerome comes this week because our grass in the back is really growing, but we've had a ton of rain, so I'm gonna chalk it up to that. I'm actually gonna go out and check the rain barrel. For some reason, we have a rain barrel, and it doesn't do the best job of catching rain. Oh well, I mean, that's better. It has a netting over it to keep stuff from going inside the barrel, but water can penetrate it, and so it's doing okay. I've got a couple of cucumbers out here that I need to harvest. Still have a ton of tomatoes on. I am just so leery about picking the green ones, like I saw on Homestead Heart the other day. So I'm just gonna let these grow for just a few more weeks, because actually I'm not gonna be planting too much more until about mid-August, end of August. But while I'm waiting to plant, I can come out and continue to weed. And I have this one big, huge, gigantic, I know it's hard to see, tomato plant, and Jackson and I are going to come out and stake it up a little more so that the leaves are not on the ground. So we just thought you guys want to come hang out with us in the garden for a little while as we work on cleaning out the greenhouse. All right, I've rallied the troops and going out into the garden. Come on, best friend. Okay. We really like the fact that Mr. Jerome put this fence, a gate on this side too. We have a gate on the other side, but we were having to walk all the way around and get to the gate, and that was a little bit much. So what my plan is we're going to move the entire greenhouse. It's just in the ground with some little pegs, these little peg lines. So I'm going to move the whole greenhouse. And what I'm going to do, because I have weeds and stuff down here, I just want to take the weed eater and weed through. And we started putting in all of our things that we keep out here, all of our extra buckets, all of our neem oils, our sprayers, all of those types of things, that watering cans, different type things that we want to keep in here, that we want to keep safe and protected, just because this is the place where it all should be stored anyway. So then I'm going to come over here and go behind these cinder blocks and get all of those grass and things out, just because I don't want to have grass and stuff there, right? And then over here as well. So we're very close to my neighbor's fence, but we want to make sure we're not messing with anything that belongs to her. But we have a lot of weeds and stuff coming up. I've got to weed out these flowers to make sure that I can put, you probably didn't see any of that, but all down in here. Right, so I want to weed out in there. While we're out here working, Jackson's going to go ahead and get the soakers on so that we can be working on that. Now, sister, over here, this is what we're going to be, where we have some issues. You see these limbs that are over here? So we got this tomato plant, and all of these limbs right here are kind of hanging down some. So we want to either connect them here, connect them to the rope or to the fence if they can, so that they're off the ground, because I've got to come through there and weed. The only other thing I need you to do, sister, go to the front porch and get the on the front porch, if you will get the there's an umbrella on the porch. I want to shade this a little bit, and then I'm just moving this soaker so that my beans are getting equal water. So we're going to put you guys down somewhere where we can kind of get you some relative shade, because I don't want my phone to overheat. And we're going to get to work. So we're going to put you guys in some relative shade. Alrighty, you guys. So here we are out in the garden. And of course, you know, I don't always have the most wanting to help children, but they do help. So we're just getting everything out of this greenhouse, because if you can tell, at the bottom of the greenhouse, there's a lot of weeds in there. And it's just, you know, growth over the year. I just wanted to make sure that we could get all of those weeds out. And Jackson was helping me. But we had, my neighbor's has vining plants, and that is her fence. So our property lines are very close together, because she built her fence very close to the, like it's right there at the property line. She didn't leave any space. So her fence, because it's right on my property line right there, her vining plants vine over and attach to anything on my side of the line. And so it just had a lot of vines caught on the tie downs that hold the greenhouse down. And so Jackson's trying to take care of those on that back one. I actually had one on the other side that I had to deal with as well. And that just took us a minute. What we're trying to do is be able to move the entire greenhouse at the same time, so we don't have to take it apart and put it back together, which it worked out fine. We had a lot of heavy wind this day, and it actually did blow the whole greenhouse over. So it didn't fly out of the garden, but we did have to actually put a few of the pieces back together. But can you tell there's lots of, there is a ton of weeds just growing up. And so here I am going to try to get this weed pressure under control. I'm not necessarily the one who likes to use the weed eater, but I know what I want done. So I end up, doing it. And then we're always trying to manage, well, now we're trying to manage a small dog in the garden. She loves the garden, but we forget that she is only a tiny thing. And so we don't want her to get caught up in any, we don't want her to get caught up in the weed eater or underneath one of our feet, because mama can move. We can see her and she just moves out the way. By the time we figure out where the little dog is, we might have stepped on her or, haphazardly moved her out the way, not really knowing that she was there. We just don't want her to get hurt, so we have to keep an extra vigilant eye. But she does indeed love the garden. And this is where the we had the camera being shaded a little bit by the umbrella, because it was very sunny and very windy, and it just kept moving around. So Jackson came over to help me adjust that. But if you can tell, now that I've gotten most of that weed pressure knocked down, and then at some point I'm going to go in and I'm going to rake up all the excess leaves or weeds there. And here we are now trying to put the pieces that popped out back into place, because it was a lot of wind on this day, one of the most windy days we've had. We had a windy day, and then the next day it was very raining and lots of storm, thunder, lightning, all of that. So of course, sister's our camera girl. She handles the camera pretty well. And then brother is helping me put all the pieces back together. Remember, Jackson put this greenhouse together. This is a vevor greenhouse. This came from their Amazon shop, and we have enjoyed having it here as a part of our little garden space. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's turned out to be very, very beneficial for our lifestyle, our garden journey. We're still very, very new to gardening. This is our 4th year gardening, but it's probably been our best year of gardening so far. We're not on the level of some of the people that I watch, Jessica over at 3 Rivers Homestead, Homestead Heart, and Becky over at Acre Homestead. We're Tangent Freedom. We're not at any of their levels.
I was seeing somebody on a post in one of our groups, and they were talking about they had splits and stuff in their tomatoes, and it was like, what did I do wrong? And the responses were, you didn't do anything wrong. It was just a lot of rain, which we've had a ton of rain here. So they said just go ahead and pick them when they start to get some color, and they can ripen in the house. So I'm going to pick these off that do have some color on them.
So totally not at their level, but we're working on it. We've learned from our infestation this year over our tomato plants that we'll start off with preventative measures ahead. So hopefully we will not get caterpillars or those little nymph bugs. And I think gardening is like any other thing. You just do your level best. You do your research. You figure out, what works in your space, because it may not work in somebody else's space. Maybe they don't have the same type of, soil you have. They may not be in the same zone as you are. So again, we just figure out what works in our space. This is the most prolific harvest season we've had thus far, and our tomato plants here in zone 8A can grow into October. I mean, sometimes we've had tomato plants that had totally died out. We didn't pull them, and they ended up producing again. I think my goal is to just get better every year that we do this, because, at some point we may have to be self-sustaining, but it's more than self-sustaining. I'd love to be able to teach people how to grow food on the suburban farmstead level. We don't have acreage, we don't have land of that magnitude, but you can feed yourself wherever you are. And so those are the skills that I'm always looking for, trying to grow so that I can teach somebody else.
All right, y'all, so it's the next day. This is where we left off yesterday. This is all of the stuff that was inside of the greenhouse. And then I've got yard tools out here because I was working. And this is what the greenhouse looks like now. So I've been able to get all of the weeds up, except for these last few little weeds, which I'm going to come through. And we're going to get those out just so we're starting off with a nice fresh palette. Okay, I do have my soil barrel, which is pretty full. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. My whiteboard is in here. I do need to put some in there. There's a wasp in here, and I need to get it out because it does not need to be inside of this greenhouse in Jesus' name. But I'm sure it can't figure out how to get out. But we're just going to help it by spraying it with wasp spray and letting it die a glorious death. Perfect. Okay. So I've gotten all of the weeds out that I wanted to. And then back here, of course, where we had just a ton of weed pressure where you just couldn't even walk back here. Because one of the things that I have concern about is making sure that I'm not stepping on anything as I am trying to work in my garden. I know some people don't care about that. I care about that. So I worked back through here yesterday, weeded, and then we picked up what we could with the grabbers. Okay. So what we got to do, our task for today is to get all of this back into the greenhouse, as well as all of my garden tools, because we do want to try to preserve those if we can. We really don't want to we don't want to mess up the garden tools if we don't have to, and if leaving them out, exposing them to the elements is bad, then we'll try to get them in here. So I need somebody to get me zip ties, because my two things on the end, they popped off. My zip ties popped off. And so I'm going to need those. I did forget my E6000 glue, because I was going to try to glue in these little posts so that they don't come out again. But I'll worry about that at another time. This looks fairly decent for me. And somebody actually bring me the broom. So this looks fairly good. We had a lot of just weed pressure that had grew up in through here. And so now that that's all gone, I'm going to be able to get everything back up in here with no problem. Jimmy it in.
Jimmy.
Jack. Very good. Now take this and sit it on that little hooky thing.
Are you really gonna name your kid Fred?
It says kid.
Okay.
Name it Fred.
I don't know
name
how
it
I feel
Bob,
about Fred.
Name it Bill.
How about you name him Jacob?
Bubba? Come on. We got the steaks.
It's almost a namesake in a way.
Listen, I'm gonna name my kid when I name my kid when I have a kid. I don't have a kid right now.
Ooh, okay. What's a boy name that you like though? Can you just tell me a boy name that you actually like that could be your name?
And name that sounds normal.
That if you weren't named Jackson, you could be named that.
Fred.
Jackson.
You really would want to be Fred.
Why not? It's on Fred.
But do you like it?
Find the thing to cut these little ends off.
A name is a name. I don't like anyone.
Okay, what's a girl name you like then? And don't say Fred.
Frida.
Jackson, stop kicking stuff.
Frida.
Mom, you're not helping. You don't like Angela? What about Bailey?
I see my daughter would be growing for being Angela.
I don't think so either. I was just saying. Okay, so we go with J names. Shakela?
I'm not naming my kid that.
I'm not gonna lie, Shakela isn't so bad. It's like Michaela, but with a J.
I can see it, Vicky. I would say
Hey,
Ariana.
Jackson, get that from her.
But after what Ariana's been doing, it's not.
What's she been doing?
Who's Ariana?
She's
Grande.
Oh!
a home wrecker now. So.
How's she wrecking people home?
She married somebody's husband. She didn't marry somebody's husband. She dated somebody's husband.
She dated somebody's husband.
She is currently.
She's currently dating somebody's husband. So is the husband not dating her?
I thought she was married.
So who wrecked the home?
Both of them.
No. Who
Mine
started
is.
this?
She did.
No.
Who started
I
what?
watched the reel today. Man was on the
Gross.
So yeah, that happened.
Okay. What does that have to do with names?
Nothing.
I'm saying I'm not naming my kid Ariana. Vicky's okay.
You like Vicky?
It's okay.
Well, do you like Victoria? Never mind. You're not going to be a nicknames guy, are
let
you?
me have. Okay, I got a few more things.
Like, if your wife wanted to name her Victoria, you would be okay with calling her Vicky? I'm just saying.
Mia, maybe? I don't know.
Mia's cute. Mia's
Okay,
short,
come
too.
on. I got this.
You like the one-syllable names?
I got
Sam.
the table.
Ava. Dom.
I need this because that's my planting situation.
No.
Okay.
No, nothing. We're just trying to get a view.
If she's like, like on the lighter side, Samantha maybe?
And you need... Would you call her Sam or would you call her Samantha?
I'd
No,
call her
you
Sam.
don't like nicknames.
I'd call her Sam.
Okay, what else do we
So
have?
Samantha's a mouthful. I'm not trying to.
What else do we have
Which
as
word?
far as...
It's your government name.
Y'all, what else do we have as far as tools? I got a shovel. What else is over there? A hoe.
You're not going to leave those things over there?
No, I'm bringing them everything over here. Jackson, the round things can go inside the pink basket. Put the top on the pink basket. Come, come, come.
Mom, what about that?
Bring the table. The wasp.
And so here it is. This is what our greenhouse looks like now that we have done all of the things that we needed to do as far as trying to get our tools inside and out of the elements and all of the things that we would need for our gardening. We do want to thank you guys so very much for stopping by our channel. If you like this video, please be sure and like. Also subscribe, hit the little bell, that way you never miss an upload from us. Thanks again, Vevor, for sending us this greenhouse, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.